I just remember my first time, my mom swam out. She shoved me into a wave. I was still on my belly, but it was like magic. I got back to my mom. She goes, "You want to do that again?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, this time try stand up."
The Banzai Pipeline was once seen as too deadly to surf. Waves crashed over the razor-sharp reef, leaving most surfers to only watch from the beach. But in the 1960s, a quiet boy from Honolulu kept paddling out. He fell, tried again, and studied every move. What he discovered at Pipeline in those years would forever change surfing. This is the story of Gerry Lopez, Mr. Pipeline. Gerry Lopez was born on November 7, 1948 in Honolulu, Hawaii. His father worked for a newspaper and his mother was a high school teacher. Lopez grew up on the east side of Honolulu and attended Punahou School. He started riding waves at Waikiki when he was about 9 years old. In those days, Hawaii was a quiet place, but statehood and lighter foam surfboards were making surfing more accessible. Lopez later recalled that riding a wave felt like flying. He said it was a sense of freedom that grips you down to your core. By age 14, he was the Hawaii state champion, and 2 years later, he won the Hawaiian Junior Surfing Championships. He spent long hours surfing at Ala Moana Bowls in front of metropolitan Honolulu, where he developed the ability to ride inside the tube. He admired the graceful style of Paul Strauch, an older Hawaiian surfer whose Cheater 5 stance appeared on posters. Lopez tried to copy that elegance and worked on his own relaxed stance. By the late 1960s, Lopez and his friends began driving out to Oahu's North Shore to watch pioneers like Butch van Aartsdalen and Jock Sutherland ride the Banzai Pipeline. Pipeline was feared because its waves break over a sharp reef just beneath the surface. During his sophomore year in high school, Lopez tried surfing Pipeline for the first time and wiped out on every drop. He kept returning, learning when to paddle and how to angle his board. A blog post about that period notes that he gradually figured out how to surf the wave, changing the entire direction of the sport. Lopez later told interviewer Jamie Brisick that Pipeline was almost empty back then because most surfers preferred Sunset Beach. The lack of crowds gave him time to experiment and develop a deeper understanding of the break. He also saw that longboards were not suited to Pipeline. The shortboard revolution of the early 1970s allowed him to build boards that worked on the steep, hollow drop. Lopez started shaping surfboards in 1968. Board design was evolving quickly, and his down-railed boards with tucked-under edges let him ride higher and tighter in the curling tube. He painted a lightning bolt along the stringer of his boards. The jag became his signature. In 1970, he and surf contest judge Jack Shipley founded Lightning Bolt Surfboards, a brand of high-performance shortboards. Their boards were simple but eye-catching, and the company was the first to sponsor professional surfers with freeboards. Lopez once took out an advertisement asking other companies to stop copying his lightning bolt symbol. He was more concerned with prestige than profit, so Lightning Bolt never sold more than about 2,500 boards a year. Nevertheless, the brand became iconic and represented the cutting edge of 1970s surf style. While attending the University of Hawaii, Lopez signed up for a yoga class. He admitted that he originally joined to meet girls, but he quickly fell in love with the practice. He said yoga's focus on mindfulness was the perfect complement to the chaos of Pipeline. Lopez became one of the first surfers of his generation to integrate yoga into his life. In 1969, he attended a lecture by Swami Vishnudevananda, founder of the Sivananda School of Yoga, and has followed those teachings ever since. He believed that yoga allowed his surfing to stay at a high level. In a later interview, he explained that good equipment and confidence are vital for surfing Pipeline. The wave is just the music, and if you get a good partner in your surfboard, you can dance pretty good. He also advised that there is always another wave coming, a metaphor meaning that surfers should remain patient even when caught inside. For Lopez, surfing was not a battle, but a dance. "It's a cakewalk," he once told a journalist. Lopez perfected his board designs and style on the barrels of Pipeline. His relaxed stance, slightly bent knees, and lowered hands made him look calm inside the tube. Instead of using the wave as a platform for performance, he aimed to disappear into it. Surf historian Matt Warshaw wrote that Lopez made the most difficult thing in the sport appear not just easy but meditative. His vertical takeoff, quick turn, and positioning under the lip became the blueprint for modern tube riding. In 1972, he entered the Pipeline Masters and won. He defended his title in 1973, and the contest was informally called the Gerry Lopez Pipeline Masters. Surfer Today notes that after his second win, the event carried his name until the passing of Andy Irons in 2010. Lopez later admitted that he once wiped out at Pipeline on Huge Monday in January 1972 and left the lineup with blood on his face and loose teeth. Nevertheless, he returned and continued to dominate. He was widely regarded as the best tube rider in the world. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Pipeline had a reputation for being unrideable. Most surfers went to Sunset Beach, and Pipeline footage in early surf movies focused on wipeouts. Lopez recognized that improved boards were the key. As shortboards developed, he and his peers could ride Pipeline successfully. When film crews saw him gliding through deep barrels, the wave became the star of surf movies and crowds began to gather. Lopez remarked that Pipeline evolved from an obscure break to one of the ultimate waves for testing a surfer's skill. In his view, Pipeline was where a surfer proved how much he wanted to be a surfer. He also noted that surfing grew from a small, obscure sport to a global industry. Younger surfers realized they could be paid to ride waves. The shortboard revolution and the photographs of Lopez disappearing into the tube inspired a generation. Rory Russell described his talent simply: "What he does is poetry. For sheer beauty, no one else even comes close." Lopez's calm aura and fame led to film roles. He played himself in the surf drama Big Wednesday, 1978, and acted alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger as Subutai in Conan the Barbarian, 1982. He appeared in North Shore, 1987, Farewell to the King, 1989, and documentaries like 5 Summer Stories, Step into Liquid and Riding Giants. Unlike some surfers who were criticized for selling out, he kept his reputation intact. He also wrote around 50 columns for the Honolulu Advertiser between 1969 and 1971 under the signature Gerry Ken Lopez, Advertiser Surfing Writer. These writings show that he was not just a performer, but also a thoughtful observer of surf culture. During the 1970s, Lopez and partner John Porter bought a property in front of the pipeline. They built a 3-story house nicknamed the Pipeline Hilton, or Pipe House, so they could see the wave from every room. The house became a gathering place for surfers, but eventually it became too busy and he sold it in 2007. Lopez also traveled widely, discovering waves in Indonesia. He thought the break at Grojogan Bay in Java, known as G-Land, was better than Pipeline. He frequently surfed remote reefs in Indonesia and Sumatra and built a 3-story dream house at Pipeline only to rent it out and move to a farm on Maui. These adventures reinforced his reputation as a surf pioneer. By the early 1990s, Lopez began to withdraw from the crowded North Shore scene. In 1992, he sold his interest in Lightning Bolt and drove a Harley from Maui through the Pacific Northwest. During that road trip, he visited Bend, Oregon, and was captivated by the town's park and nearby snow-covered mountains. He returned that winter and experienced the heavy snowfall on Mount Bachelor. Lopez and his wife Toni decided to move to Bend, along with their 4-year-old son, Alex. He soon discovered snowboarding, which he said made him appreciate surfing even more. He created the Big Wave Challenge at Mount Bachelor, a snowboarding event where shapers build waves out of snow, and competitors are judged on power, speed, and control. Lopez explained that the natural wind lips at Mount Bachelor look every bit as great as a wave in the ocean. The event reflects his belief that the best surfer is the one having the most fun. As he put it, the old Beach Boys of Waikiki used to say, "The best surfer is the one having the most fun." Lopez embraced other activities in Oregon. He surfed the Pacific City Break whenever conditions were good and stand-up paddleboarded on the Columbia River Gorge. He kiteboarded in Hood River and surfed the river wave at Bend Whitewater Park. He also became an ambassador for Patagonia, helping the company develop eco-friendly wetsuits and surfboards. He described Patagonia as a dream company because its creed is to make the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and inspire environmental solutions. As he matured, Lopez reflected on etiquette and the spirit of aloha. He acknowledged that he once took many waves at Pipeline, but later learned that surfing requires respect. He told Guy Kawasaki that today's crowded lineups demand that surfers surf with aloha. He emphasized that good waves are shared and that frustration only spoils the experience. When asked how to surf Pipeline successfully, he said that modern athletes ride boards much smaller than his generation did, but the key is focus and choosing the right waves. In a 2004 interview, he explained that as an older surfer, he only needs one good drop, a good turn, a tube, to feel satisfied. Lopez also sees parallels between surfing and life. He said surfing teaches people to go with the flow smoothly and live in the moment. During a talk for St. Charles Healthcare, he urged listeners to embrace life spontaneously because time does not hold still. In the Liquid Salt interview, he observed that surfing provides a mysterious spiritual stimulation that makes people want to return again and again. He explained that there is always another wave. Just take the pounding, wait for the set to pass, and then make your move. He also advised walking in someone else's shoes before criticizing them, joking that if you walk a mile in their shoes, you will be a mile away and they will be barefoot. Even after decades in the water and on snow, Lopez continues to shape surfboards and practice yoga. He still surfs whenever conditions are good in Oregon or during trips to Indonesia. He has been recognized as Waterman of the Year by the Surf Industry Manufacturers Association in 1999, inducted into the Huntington Beach Surfing Walk of Fame in 2000, and named Shaper of the Year by Surfing Magazine in 2002. These accolades reflect his contributions not just as a surfer, but as a designer and ambassador. Today, the Banzai Pipeline is crowded with surfers and photographers, but Gerry Lopez's mark remains. He turned a once-feared wave into the ultimate test of a surfer's courage and skill. He did so by blending innovation in board design with a calm, Zen-inspired approach. He showed that a surfer could ride deep in the barrel while appearing relaxed. His lightning bolt boards inspired countless shapers, and his wins at the Pipeline Masters set a standard for competitive tube riding. Beyond surfing, he built a life that balances family, creativity, and environmental stewardship. In Oregon, he crafts boards, rides frozen waves, and shares the joy of surfing with young snowboarders and river surfers. Perhaps his most enduring lesson is simple: the best surfer is the one having the most fun. With each wave, whether water or snow, Lopez continues to embody the spirit that earned him the title Mr. Pipeline.